So the data set I'm using now is Spotify dataset. It's about music. And remember that this data analysis is strictly on date because date is one of the most important parts of a data analysis, the date column. So we are going to perform EDA on a real data set, and the data set is called Spotify dataset. And watch as I dissect. So I assume that you already have Arrow Studio installed in your laptop. So this is a step-by-step date analysis of a Spotify dataset. And the first step is to load your required libraries for the analysis. And the first library, or any one of your choice, I think we should start with ggplot for plotting graph. Then we'll go to data table, is used for analysis. Then reader is used for importation of CSV file. Then Lubridate is used for analyzing dates. So let's run all these packages. Then let's load our Spotify dataset. And there are so many ways you can do it manually, or you can also use this way. You go to file, import datasets, and you see reader, you click on it, then you browse, then you go to desktop because the file is in desktop, and I put the file here in this DLC course data. Double click on it, then you go down and this Spotify data, then you press open, you click on open, then it will now retrieve the data, the preview. Then you now click on import, and now your Spotify dataset has been successfully loaded in R Studio. And we are going to work on track album release dates and also track popularity. In analyzing a data set, the first column we are going to analyze every data set is the date column. And let us copy this. Let us copy it. We'll copy it from here. Then we'll copy this one also. Then we're going to convert our data set to data table. So now I'll run this. It has now been successfully converted to data table. So now let us change our date to date format. So this is how to do it. Column. The name of the column is track album release date. Then track album release date. Then the format will be like this. We are going to use day first, day, then month, then year. So this format we are going to use for the analysis. Then let's quickly run this. Then we are going to split it into year, month, and day for easy assessment and for easy analysis. So let's split it. Let's start with year. We are creating a year column. Then this. Track album release date. So in order to save time, We are going to copy this everything here. Control C. Then we are going to change this one to months. This column is called months. And then we're also going to change here to months. Then we'll come down here and change this one to month name. Then this one will also be called months. Then we'll enter here, put a comma, then label true. Then here we'll change this one to day. So now we have created column for year, month name and day. So let's quickly run this. Then I will show you. Then we'll now go back to our data set. And then we'll move to the end. We can see the columns we just created: the year column, the month name column, and the day column. So now in your analysis, creating separate column will help you analyze the year, month, and day properly. So now let's go back to the file. Now let's create a separate variable called year count. Let's see how many year are in the data sets. So there should be a column here. Then let's go down and print year count. So let's quickly run this and see what will happen. And now if we raise this up, this is the console, raise it up so that we're able to view the year count. We can see that we have 62 years in this Spotify data set, and out of the 62 years, 1957 appears one time, 1963 appears 4 times, 1965 appears 10 times, and so on and so forth. So let's quickly bring this down, the console down. And now let's remove missing dates from the column, because if you don't remove missing dates from the column, you are no R Studio will not allow you to what, to plot graph. So let's remove this.na. So this now, we are going to remove the missing dates from it, and let's create another variable called was Spotify, where we will tell R to ignore the missing dates. So now let's quickly run this. So now by doing this, we have told R, if let's do it again, I'll show you something. You can see that now 0 rows, 27 columns. If we go up, you can see the false. We can see that, let's raise this up. You can see that these are the missing values in track album release date. And now since they are not much, we are going to tell R to what, to ignore those missing values by putting this thing here. So now let's create a separate column called what? Called decade. So now let's create a separate column called decade. So now we've created a separate column called decade. And now let's remove the missing values. Let's check if there are missing values. Let's run this and see. We can see that there are no missing values in decade. So now we can use it to plot graph without problem. So let's plot graph viewing popularity trend by decade. Y value be what? Track popularity. That's a mistake. Facet wrap. This will be used to wrap the graph into 10 years. Since we've already created a column called decade, scale free. And labs. So now we are plotting the popularity trend by decade. So we are going to name this popularity trend. by by decade. Album release date. Album release date. And why we called what? Track popularity. So now let's quickly run this and see how we are going to view the data set, the track album release date, popularity trend by decade. Let's see how it will look like, although it will take more time. Now we can see the visual representation. We can see 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. We can see that the album that were released in this period were not popular. But from 2010, the album that were released in 2010 were more popular than any other decade. While you can see in the 2000, from 2000 to 2010, the albums that were released were also popular. Unlike from 2020 till date, the albums that were released were not as popular. So this is the visual representation of popularity trend by decade. And there's something that you should also know. The reason why I use decade is because of the year in this data set. We have up to 80 years. This is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, up to 80 years. That's why I group them in decade in 10 years. Now let's filter the data set so that we can plot for 1 year, so that we can see the popularity trend for 1 year. So let's start by filtering the data set. So let's create the month. So let's label it. So let's quickly run this since we filtered it up to months. So let's create the year we are going to view. I've chosen 2018. So we are going to view the popularity trend in 2018. So let's do by creating a variable called what? Spotify 2018. So let's create a variable called Spotify 2018, and this is how you create it. We've successfully created a year 2018. And now let's find the month popularity trend, the average popularity trend for 2018. So let's do that. We are going to create a separate column for it by month. So let's quickly run this and see. I think there is a small error. And what is the error? The error is let's view error in this. Okay, okay, I can see where the problem is coming from. So let's go down and let's go back. Okay, okay, I think the error is from average popularity mean. Okay, track popularity by month. Okay, okay, here is the error. The error is here. So let's quickly run it again. I think there is still a small error. What's the error? Otherwise, okay, I'm popularity me. Okay, okay, okay. Sorry. Months. Only. Where is the error? Month 2018. This is correct now. This is correct. This is correct. I don't know why I'm still seeing error here. Okay. I think the error was those two commas here. Then now I've gotten it. Let's plot a graph showing the monthly popularity for 2018. And the line, then color. Let's use red. Then the line, let's change the size. No, the point. Let's leave it. Let's change the size to 3. And then let's give it a title. Let's give the graph a title, and the title will be monthly popularity for 2018. For 2018. Then X will be months. Then Y will be popularity, average popularity. So let's quickly run this and see for the year 2018. So this is a graph for year 2018, the average popularity. So we can see that January albums that were released in January, February, March were not that popular, but May, the albums that were released that period were very popular, and October were very popular, and December very popular. I believe that was December is usually a holiday. Maybe that's why the albums that were released at that period were popular. And if you want to get for other subsequent years, you can just copy this. You can copy everything here and paste it again. Then you now change the year to any year you want, and it will give you the average monthly popularity trend for any year you want. So this brings us to the end of this data analysis for Spotify data sets. And please like, subscribe, and share my video.